Okay.
I don't even know how you start.
هقول لك. I will literally show you right now. 3 2 1 Joumana Khaled. She's the first friend of the podcast. تيجي
That's true.
مع كريم
That's true.
ومع كريم. I'm super happy that you're finally here. Genuinely.
I am too. I'm excited.
انت عارفه كنت بكلم ندى was supposed to be on the podcast with us فكنت بكلمها وهي بتقول لي ان لا عشان لما ندى تيجي عايزانا تبقى احنا السته فبتقول لي لا بس قولي لجمانه تبقى جمانه وكريم you're going to have a very educational podcast and it's very true عشان انتوا الاثنين
زي احنا الستة like the viewers are like
احنا السته we're يعني
we're a cult.
we're a very tight group of friends الحمد لله يعني بس احنا يعني في ناس مننا مسافرين وفي ناس في المعادي وفي ناس
مسافرين يعني
بس I feel like this will be a very educational podcast عشان الاثنين دول
educational دي
هقول لك bro you
He
guys
gives
are
us so much credit and then I feel pressure. لازم هو أقول حاجة.
you don't have to feel pressured بس it's true you guys are very intellectual very اللي هو وانت قاعد مع جمانة ما ينفعش تاكل فراخ باني بايدك تاكلها بشوكة وسكينة.
دي ولا شغلة دي.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
ما انت خدتي اسمه ايه
هو أنا يعني أول مرة أجي وما
can you-
ليش 10 ثواني.
كده I don't want you to introduce yourself
بصياتك.
بس Joumana is a triple major so can you just give us a brief and give the people who are watching a fucking brief about you being a triple major في جامعة برا مصر.
طيب شكرا يا سودان المقدمة الجميلة دي. I am a triple major بس I do it as if it's one major عشان it would be too
أنا
complicated.
جامدة فاش.
لا بالعكس. Anyways, so I study philosophy, politics, economics. وقبل ما يجيلي hate, no philosophy is important. أو مش هشتغل في فلسفة, but I like it. ماشي.
What do you like about philosophy?
And it ties into everything else I study, and it's different, completely different. It makes you feel like أنت مش بتدرس منهج. Makes you actually think.
صح
like
طبعا.
انت مش بتدرس منهج.
عشان انت بتدرس بس I'm actually serious.
أولا أنت ما بتذاكرش أصلاً.
أنا باخد philosophical thinking.
And you know it's important and how it ties to other things.
How does it tie to other things? مش philosophy هي يعني it's the art of questioning. Am I butchering what it is?
It's not just the art. It's not just the art of questioning. There are different types of philosophy. Also, some of the biggest philosophers were mathematicians, and a lot of people use philosophical theory for politics and economics.
بس ما فيش حد فلسفي بس احنا متفقين يعني
يعني مفيش حد فلسفي.
فيش فيلسوف كان يوسفل وهو فيلسوف فقط.
ازاي؟
انا بسألك يعني
لا طبعا.
انت بتقولي الجامدين قاعده بتقولي الماثيماتيشنز والفيزيشنز.
انت بتتكلم ان
فيلسوف الفيلسوف
is the backbone of everything else.
ملوش لازمه ما عملش اي حاجه.
لا بس I'm sure how is philosophy the backbone of everything else? Because I don't believe it is.
I'll tell you. And انت a lot of things that have to do with human sciences زي politics و economics ماشي. Sometimes to think about how you want to deal with people or the different policies you should use ومش عارف ايه وحاجات زي كده. Sometimes you need to think about just the way the interactions are formed or how people are going to process the knowledge that they get ومش عارف ايه وحاجات زي كده. And then but it's important for physics and math for just thinking about existence in general or perception and that kind of stuff.
مش كل دي theories rather than actual thank you Karim. Yes. Also جيجي لما بتخبطي على الترابيزه للاسف الاوديو انت ما خبطتيش بس just as a disclaimer عشان انا وكريم اللي هو we've gone through so many bad recordings so we understand بس حاليا ما تخبطيش كتير قوي عشان ان شاء الله يا جماعه لما البوم ارمز توصل ان شاء الله I've been hyping them up ان شاء الله لما يوصلوا things are gonna change تبقى جو روجن اكسبيرينس فشخ نفسها.
ينفع بس في مقدمه مهمه قوي احنا لسه ما عملناش دلوقتي. النهارده عيد ميلاد
يوسف سودان
الهوست بتاعنا
هولي شيت
مستر كاجوال توكس ذات
21 years old
21 ولساني 60 ولساني 60 crazy 21 years old.
How do you feel brother?
I don't know. يعني this episode is a birthday special بس not in my birthday is special but it's a birthday special. No I'm serious بس يعني
we're recording on the day يا جماعة حتى not even pre-recorded.
أنا عيد ميلادي 6 مايو 6 مايو 2000 فأنا عندي 21 سنة النهاردة. crazy الفكرة إن I don't feel like I'm 21. I don't feel like
you're 21.
انا عشان انا مش فاهم المفروض وانا عندي 21 سنه ايه اللي يتغير فاهمه بس اللي
I
ضايقني
feel like we've said that every year that we've grown.
بس انت اتغيرت.
بيتقال لنا ايه ده انت مش حاسس
Yes,
بس لما تبص على لما تميت 20 من لما تميت 21 هتحس بفرق.
لا
السنه دي انت لما كان I was going through the podcast Instagram وبصيت على our first podcast مع جرحي بتاع I'm like we're not the same people.
we are
من
definitely
4-5 شهور.
Yeah.
انت بتقول لي من سنه
ولا حتى من سنه انا اعرف سودان بقالي almost 6 سنين دلوقتي almost 6 years قابلته بالجلاسز بقى وبالبريسز
انا يا دوب لحقت الجلاسز
لا سيبك من سنه لسنه from when I first met you to today even though you've always been about the hard work and the pushing yourself with discipline وكل ده you are not the same person at all.
That's very scary.
ليه؟
Because you don't know where you're going to go from here.
upwards and onwards just
even
growth.
if downwards so much that all goes into growth.
إذا ليه down
يعني مهما حصل عشان these experiences teach no these experiences teach you you shouldn't just always
I agree.
I don't want him to have a bad relationship with feeling like that some things might not work out for him or something
that is growth.
أيوة
that is still upwards. I believe that is still upwards.
Oh
my god I was gonna talk about shift but you can go. I was gonna say this was less than a year ago.
That's what I was thinking about. I didn't want to say
growth. No, that was huge growth.
Bro, أنت مش فاهم.
Huge growth. This shift led to this. No shift we would not have.
سنة
100%.
سني يعني السنة اللي أنا تميت فيها 20 سنة اللي هي السنة اللي فاتت 2000 كانت إيه؟ بين 2000 من 2000
Your 21st year.
My 20th year بقى.
ماشي.
السنة دي كانت أكبر سنة في حياتي. في كل حاجه انا بعملها
يعني مش النهارده انت اتغيرت بس over the past year.
يعني وانا عندي 19 سنه كان حصل موضوع بي فيت ان انا بدات ابقى بمرن في بي فيت and that was incredible and it was huge my 20th year بقى bro everything changed shift مبدئيا كورونا كوفيد غيرت حياتي made me real and I talked about this a lot on the podcast. I said made me realize how shit of a person I was and like how much shit I had piled up and how much يعني
I think it was a year of introspection for everyone.
فش 100%.
I think it taught us just to slow down and actually have to sit with ourselves.
Yes.
And then figure out what is going on. And when you have life going on and everything is just fast and paced and your schedule. I remember when you used to look at your calendar schedule, everything was down to the hour, down to the minute. 4 to 5 هنا 5 ل5 ونص هشرب قهوة ومن 5 ونص ل6 ونص همرن. فكك.
But that was his lifestyle. يعني هو حياته كان
exactly. And he had no time to introspect at all. He didn't know who Yousef was خالص.
بس غير كده هو يعني as much as it was good for you, I think when COVID came, you were so frustrated. Even though it was a break and everyone waits for a break, بالنسبة لك أنت كنت حاسس إن أنت كنت.
No one enjoyed the break past the 2-week mark.
أيوة بس هو حتى هو يومين في البيت وبيبدأ خلاص يعني.
بس أنا أقول لك ليه أنا أدركت إن a very big part of it was and I was fucking terrified of myself. I was terrified of what was going on in my head. عشان كده I rushed into shift. Shift was an incredible idea. الexecution كان عالمي. كل حاجة كانت كويسة قوي. أنا فاكر والله العظيم وحياة أمي كنت أسبوع ورا أسبوع يوم ورا يوم ببعت لكريم وببعت لجومانا وببعت لجرحي وببعت لندى وببعت لماي بارتنر اللي هو كان معايا في شيفت ببعت لهم بصوا يا جماعه عملت ده في الويب سايت وهو بيبعت لي وبوريهم بصوا احنا هنعمل دي كذا بصوا ده السبلايز. انا فاكر كم المجهود اللي كنت بحطه وشيفت انقذتني او مش انقذتني. شيفت was a distraction from the fact in there is so much going on up there and there's so much shit that I need to deal with but I don't want to. فعشان كده لما شيفت فشلت والدنيا بدأت تقع then is when خلاص بقى كانت أكبر مشاكل بيني وبين أهلي ساعتها أكبر مشاكل بيني like in my personal relations with my friends أكبر مشاكل بيني وبين نفسي. أنا متأكد 100% أن أنا دخلت في phase depression مرعب بس it all led to الحمد لله growth. بس the podcast was me redeeming myself. The podcast was me feeling اللي هو أنا فشلت في حاجة أنا حطيت فيها مجهود كبير قوي فلا أنا عايز أعمل حاجة أنا بحبها وعايز أعمل حاجة وطول عمري نفسي أبدأ بودكاست.
أنت ما فشلتش أنت بالعكس أنت you learned so much and you executed so well with everything that you were doing. لا يعني انت اكتسبت خبره كتير قوي في الفتره القصيره اللي كنت بتحاول
الحمد لله. بس bottom line is يعني الحمد لله ده طبعا من كرم ربنا ان احنا ما خسرناش فلوس. يعني بالعكس انا رجع لي فلوس. انا الانيشال انفستمنت اللي حطيتها لو مثلا كانوا 10 جنيه انا الحمد لله رجع لي 15 جنيه اصلا which is great. بس لا الفكره كانت عالميه فاهم. الفكره كانت خطيره
no one says you can't revisit it though.
هقول لك المشكله فين. المشكله shift is خلاص I don't want to say permanently بس يعني لحد دلوقتي بالنسبه لي permanently يعني on pause. عشان اللي حصل كان ان انا والبارتنر اتفق يعني انا والشريك القديم اتفقنا انه خلاص هنحط هنحطها on hold. وبعد كده هو اصلا جاء قال لي لا انا I don't want part in it. فالدنيا كانت تمام. سلمنا على بعض بالشياكه صفينا الحسابات ما بيننا. وهو قال لي خلاص الشركه شركتك او مش الشركه يعني بس الفنتشر بتاعك وخلاص باسمك. احنا المصيبه ان احنا كنا كل ده ما سجلناش. الكلام ده كان في شهر 10 اكتوبر 2020. خلاص اكتشفت بقى لما انا رحت عشان اسجل اسم شيفت هيلث اند نيوتريشن اكتشفت ان في حد مسجل اسم شيفت في الاندستري اللي انا فيها من شهر 7. وانا كنت قاعد بقول احنا لازم نسجل وانا مش I'm not trying to blame my partner بس هو قال لي ان he's going to take the responsibility. فدي كانت واحده من الحاجات اللي انا اتعلمتها اللي هو ايه partner or not you need to do the shit and you need to do shit and you need to do it super fast very fast because you don't know. والمشكله ان انا حاولت بقى اغير الاسم اخليه مثلا health and nutrition shift. المشكله ان health وتبقى على البراند shift health and nutrition بره عن اي حد فاهم. طالما انا مسجلها في السجل التجاري عادي. بس health and nutrition طلعت حاجه زي public domain اللي هو مثلا كانك بتقول water فاهم قصدي. فهي طلعت كده فالشيفت هو الاسم. فقررت اخليها طب خلاص يوسف سودان شيفت. يوسف سودان مش هينفع ليه عشان سودان اسم بلد. اقسم بالله مش بهزر. الراجل اللي بيكلمني بيقول لي حضرتك سودان اسم بلد. بقول له حضرتك انا اسمي يوسف سودان انا بره عني. بس دخلت بقى في مشاكل بنت
النيوتريشن بتاع السودان كلها
حضرتك سودان اسم بلد.
فالمصيبه ان احنا دخلنا بقى في حته ان ده ريبراندنج يا معلم. وبقى هتغير بقى الاس عشان الاس واز فيري ايكونيك. فهتغير بقى الاس وتعمل براند جديد فاهم. وتغير الويب سايت. بس
if you ever want to get back to it هتلاقي لها حل يعني بسيطة. بس يعني I think you're a lot more passionate about the podcast. الحمدلله it's working out.
This is the 33rd episode bro.
Yeah,
33 يعني 33 هبل I can't believe
33 قول ساعتين each تتكلم في 66 ساعة
content
recorded
literally
66 ساعة
crazy like تتخيل 66 ساعة full of stupid shit, very important shit, very good advice,
very impressive people,
very funny shit.
الحمدلله very funny shit يعني no it's crazy يعني. وهي دي فكرة ان انا كنت لسه بقول لكريم امبارح I don't want to keep going on rants بس يعني امبارح
because I feel like you do whatever you
I just
want.
need to make sure we're recording. I feel like so امبارح كان اللي هو بقى بعد الساعة 12 عيد ميلادك ما اعرفش ايه روحت
ما حدش عارف يوصل.
انا شخصيا
ما حدش فينا
كله حاول انا رجعت البيت الساعه 12 الا تلت. والله العظيم اول حاجه عملتها دخلت احنا البيت 3 ادوار. الشقه اللي تحت دي شقه اللي هي البيت اللي فيه البودكاست. دخلت قفلت على نفسي فتحت التكييف فتحت الانوار كلها شغلت الJBL حطيت تليفوني على ايربلين مود وفصلت. قلعت الساعه سبت الايباد سبت اللابتوب سبت كل حاجه. شغلت اغاني لمده ساعتين متواصل. I'm revisiting every single song I've loved and I've liked since I was fucking 12. أقسم بالله بص as cliche and as fucking stupid as it sounds I sang along ورقصت وعرفش أقسم بالله. وعملت بقى كوباية أنا ما بشربش بس عملت إحنا في رمضان أصلا
ليه دي معلومة جديدة.
أيوة أنا ما بشربش بس عملت كوباية
أنا ما بشربش إحنا في رمضان بس أنا كنت عايز أحس بقى جو الأفلام بقى اللي هو تبقى معاك بقى الكاس وبتاع. خدت كنت أقسم بالله طلعت فوق البيت عم جبت ليه كوباية صغيرة حطيت شوية تلج وجبت ريد بول ورحت حطيتها فيها. والله حياة أمي وريت كريم أصلا صورة. قعدت ليتلي مشغل البتاع قاعد على الكرسي ده ومرجعه لورا حاطط رجلي على الديسك ومعايا فاهم الكوبايه and I'm just zoning out. It was genuinely one of the best 2 hours of my life. وحياة أمي بجد
انت بقى you just messed up birthday culture.
اشمعنى
birthday culture عبارة عن الساعة 12 بالظبط لازم يجي لك لازم 19 تليفون و15 تكست ساوند تايب والناس انت ولا فاكرها ولا عارفها ولا عارفها بس قشطة it ignites something again every year and then تقعد كام شهر وتنساهم تاني and then you call them on their birthday نفس الموضوع.
ممكن اقول لك على حاجة؟ انت عارف ان انا امبارح I realized ان I don't want people to call me or to text me
on your birthday
on my birthday because it gives me a high that I know is temporary.
What's wrong with a temporary high?
Really? It gives you a high? It gives me the opposite.
بجد؟
So
the attention on a birthday and then just feel like
it's fake.
Not fake but اللي هو sometimes it just feels like اللي هو people think it's more of an obligation لو انت لازم تعيد على الشخص ده او كده and it feels less heartfelt so then بحس لو it's
انا ليه ما عنديش حاجات دي
دي اللي هي احساس
لا شكرا لا ليه ما عنديش الاوبليجيشن فيلينج انا عمري ما عيدت على حد مش عايز اعيد عليه او ما بحبوش او مش حاسس ان انا
عايز بس انت بدام انت بتبقى عارف لو اوكي انا I like this person is my friend
فعايز اعيد عليه في مينيت ليه I like him he's my friend ومش عايز اعيد عليه وحاسس اوبليجيشن يبقى انت you don't like him ولا he's your friend
بس عارف لو بتبقى يعني في ناس بتيجي عيد ميلادها like مثلا I'm excited first كنت لسه بقول له كده امبارح because he was saying he wasn't قلت له I don't care your birthday is for me I feel excited for your birthday بس I don't feel like يعني some people would say just happy birthday and it's fleeting وخلاص مش مشكلة بس حس إنه for the person receiving it it's different you feel like there's so
thank you very كده
you feel like people love you
I agree
أنا بقى بالنسبة لي that's a temporary high that I don't want هقول لك ليه عشان
بس I feel like knowing it's temporary makes it fine it's like oh okay عيد عليه it's fine وانا هعيد عليك في
لا because I always want that high because I feel like I always crave it فكرة اللي هو not the attention بس ان everything is filled with love فاهم ان everyone اللي هو حتى ممكن تيجي على حد من غير قصدك and they won't talk about it عشان it's your birthday and خلاص it's your special day أهلك بقى تلاقيهم حبيبي نفسك في ايه اللي هو الجو ده عارف اللي هو الجو اللي بيروح بعديها بأسبوع أو أقل فأنا عشان كده that high I'm going to plunge super like into super deep waters دلوقتي بس what I realized بقى امبارح عشان كده قلت لك I was reflecting في مخي not typing it يعني what I felt was in the only high that you can properly maintain for as long as you live is through giving yourself the same amount of self-love that people give you on your birthday. That to me was huge عشان أنا I felt أقسم بالله completely peaceful. I felt super serene. حسيت كده إن أنا زن فشخ في نفسي. كنت واقف وبرو حسيت إن أنا alright life's great.
Interesting.
And then I thought to myself I was like okay but this is going to fade very quickly. And then I thought to myself لا the birthday wishes are going to fade but what I have right now is self-love for myself. يعني امبارح I felt like I really appreciate and really fucking love and respect myself.
As you should.
And that's why في حاجات كتيرة قوي like خلاص I mended relationships وصلحت حاجات كتيرة قوي وكلمت مع ناس كتيرة قوي بس I felt like that high is mine. That's the high that I can permanently be on. فاهم that wavelength. It was very very interesting. Very
for someone who couldn't spend a minute with himself. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Do you think that's why people say you should like you can't love someone before you love yourself?
Yes. I think you can't give what you don't have.
No,
Rob,
I don't think
I agree.
Really? I don't think it works like that though. I don't think if you have any bad relationship with self-love that means you can't give love to other people. It's just a matter of where you direct it but not whether you have it or not.
I think love has to be a mutual thing. ده مبدئيا عندي كconcept.
Okay.
I can't love someone that doesn't love me أصلا. This all about.
You think you can control it?
Control it? No.
Control what?
No. I just don't think it will come if I don't feel like it's not shared. And for it to feel shared, for me to feel that I'm loving that someone, I can't feel like I'm pouring into an empty cup.
Yeah, but why would it be empty?
Because there is no self-love, so you're trying to love them and they feel like it's like nothing is going through.
Very intense conversation.
Nothing is resonating. something is resonating.
لا مش شرط. I feel like if you know how to love people then you know how to receive it. But the self-love is, like he said, just yours. It's between you and yourself.
Right, but if you can receive love from someone else, why can't you receive it from yourself?
I think it's because you know how to love someone.
I think it's judgment.
You think you judge yourself, that's why you don't love yourself.
I think it's 100%. It's judgment. It's holding yourself accountable for not accountable, sorry. ان انت تمسك السكينه على رقبتك في كل اللي بتعمله. انا ليه مش كويس؟ انا ليه مش طويل؟ انا ليه مش ذكي؟ انا ليه مش حلو؟ لا كده
مش طويل.
existential questions. فاهم قصدي؟ بس كنت عايز اقول لك ايه، you can give what you don't have but you're going to burn out.
Yes, okay, that I can agree with. You know, at one point you feel like
خلاص.
I think that's where people start to feel like they're taken for granted sometimes. لو تحس ان انت عمال تحب في شخص بس انت no matter how much they love you, maybe that's kind of what you mean. No, you just can't process it. But that's when you start feeling like I just not I'm not absorbing it.
Which is why it's a long run thing. It's not at the moment I can love you عادي if I don't love myself or love him. But it's in the long run. Can't be in a relationship with someone or love someone for a while that doesn't love themselves, because again, like you're pouring into an empty cup. Everything is just falling.
I feel like that can happen, but I feel like it's also very possible, and people learn to love themselves more when they're surrounded by the right support, and that right support can be friendship or a relationship or family or whatever. So I feel like they both can exist at the same time.
What do you think?
I don't know. And I definitely think that people can love other people when they don't love themselves. I just think it's a sinking ship.
It's a
sinking ship.
Yeah.
You're going to end up regretting it. Not regretting
or
loving that person.
Or you learn to love yourself while you're surrounded by the right support.
But you have to.
You have to love yourself.
You have to love yourself regardless.
100%.
I just feel like people write off, like you think someone doesn't, and then you just write them off as being someone worth your energy. Kind of when you say you can't love someone when you don't love yourself.
No, I don't. Can elaborate on that?
يعني sometimes when you think this person doesn't love themselves, or maybe mentality, you're pouring into an empty cup. It's kind of like then you're leading them to never being able to find that support, because you're always seeing them as an empty cup.
You know what makes me agree with you a bit? Parental love. I think parents can not necessarily love themselves, but love their kids.
Really?
Transition. بص احنا عادة
I'm really good with these things. I'm very smooth. He ruins it every time.
It's so cool.
It's very cool. الفكرة ان انا في البودكاست العادية with like guests تبقى مش بقى محضر بس like I have a couple of questions that I transition very smoothly. بس انا دلوقتي قاعد مع صحابي I don't need to fucking transition. بس ولاد كريم very smooth وشيك قوي. احنا متفقين هنتكلم على حاجة معينة in out of the blue يتكلم عليها مرة واحدة in the middle of it. Oh, it's so sexy. It's so chic فشخ. Very لا the act is so sexy. Oh my god, transition مرعب. But yes, I do agree very much that parental love is like might cause a lot of self-love issues.
But so what he was saying is that he thinks parents can not love themselves but love their kids.
Yes.
But I feel like, don't you think a lot of parents try to exercise control, and that's because they really, really believe that what they're thinking or feeling
I think that's a parental style. That's just wrong.
You have just so much faith in that what you're doing is like it's just right and it's what's best for your kid.
That's okay.
How can you be so sure if you don't
love
yourself enough to believe it?
علاقة love yourself with believing you're right. That's just coming from experience.
أنا
شفت شيماء وهي بتعمل ما اعرفش ايه مع ولادها طلعوا زي الفل. ما اعرفش حسيت لانه it's such a كده شيماء وعفاف عملوا كده مع ولادهم وطلعوا زي الفل، يبقى اكيد ده صح. وانا شفت جدتي من ناحيه خالتي وجدي من ناحيه عمي عملوا كده والولاد طلعوا زي الفل، هم عندهم 50 سنه كويسين مع انهم عندهم عقد وعندهم مشاكل وعندهم مصايب برضو من اللي حصل فيهم هم عيال، بس احنا شايفين they are successful.
انا مش مقتنع ان your parents بيكونوا شايفين العقد
اللي they don't. ما ده اللي انا بقوله they don't. بس هم شايفين this is a successful person and I saw him be raised in that technique and I saw and this is what we're doing. And
Like
this
about
is
how they
all
were
we're
raised,
gonna know.
not to other
بالظبط
people.
ده اللي أنا بقوله, which is why I don't think it's got to do with love. I think it's just style and it's all you know and it's experience.
No, I think with every generation, like even though it's all we know because our parents raised us this way وكل حاجة, I feel like with every generation something changes. هو أيوة, there is a big part of you that just really knows that this way of parenting just doesn't work. You change that with your kids, but it's almost like it's never enough. No matter how much change
I don't
you
think
go
it's
through,
ever gonna be correct.
You don't think any parenting style?
No,
can
then
be
I think I was raised great, but I would not raise my kids the same way.
ليه؟ And how, not why, but in what sense?
I just feel like there are several aspects about myself that could have been different if I was raised differently.
Like what? If you're comfortable to share.
لا. I can't think of anything specific on the spot, but I know إن فيها كذا حاجة لما بفكر. I'm like, okay, لا, I wouldn't do this مع عيالي. I wouldn't do this مع عيالي. I don't like it. هل؟ مع إن in the overall, when I look at the big picture, I'm like, oh, I'm مبسوط with how I turned out. Alhamdulillah, thank you, my parents على طلعت فيه. فاهم؟ فلو I don't think it's ever going to be correct, and I'm going to take off things and put other things وما أعرفش إيه. بس ما هو ده هيأثر على حاجات تانية. يعني ممكن أحسسه إنه he's very loved as a child. ممكن احنا okay I was raised very tough love style, and tough love كده I agree and I believe it makes diamonds. حلو tough love and you just work and it's you know it's love but it's very tough, it's very harsh, it's very go do your work, go do your shit. حلو so you could do that with a certain child, and I think every single child is different. And you cannot guarantee your parental style works with him and doesn't work with the other. So you can go, oh لا بلاش tough love, let's be very kind, very loving, very
لازم sound effect عشان يعبر عن الفكرة.
الناس فاهميني غبوتي. And then when you do that with the children, بعدين يطلع بايظ بقى يطلع فاكر الدنيا سهلة وصباح الفل everyone's very loving وأنا في شيء. On the other side, you raise someone that's very tough love and they don't know how to deal with their emotions.
I just saw this on Hey Steve.
مين Hey Steve?
Steve Harvey's show.
Oh, okay.
I just saw a clip about that conversation. Just tough love ولا you tell your kids that they're good at something and just let them keep doing it even though they're not.
I don't think either one is right, and I don't think my kids are going to agree with either one being right. If I do tough love, they're going to go like, oh man, I wish I had some of this. And if you do this, you're going to wish you're going to relax.
I mean, مش عارفة. I feel like there are at the same time, even though you feel that way, I could never blame my parents. Maybe for that reason, there's no right strategy, but also because they're so human. Sometimes it just really hits me how human my parents are. They're not just parents. They are
because they are.
Yeah, they're human beings. And then
but I feel like
that's why I'm not as confrontational مثلا as you could be.
صح.
Because for me, I بحس هو لو زعلوا أو حاجة أو كده I just
ما هو
I
المشكلة
get so sensitive to
إنه
that.
you treat them like parents yet you see them as humans. So you either treat them like parents and hence deal with them as parents, or see them as humans and deal with them as humans. So you either hold them accountable and be able to hold them accountable because they're humans and they can make mistakes, or they're parents and hence I can't hold them accountable but I will see them as parents, not humans. يبقى أنت المفروض كل حاجة تعملها صح.
No, أنا بحس that notion about parents isn't right though. You can't
they're
think
humans, صح? يبقى I have to be able to hold them accountable.
Just because you're a parent, هو صعب قوي, especially with concept بر الوالدين. It's very difficult to think.
I don't think بر الوالدين is not holding your parents accountable.
مش accountability, but the way you do it أو كده you always have
I
to
agree
keep
with the way.
this kind of faith in what they're doing is right, and if it's not, and if it's not,
you see they're human.
أيوة, بس if it's not, you're not as confrontational because it's not like you're dealing with your friends.
بر الوالدين مش ان انت لما يعني ده على حسب علمي انا يعني وانا ممكن ابقى في حاجه كتير قوي ما اعرفهاش. I just need to make that very clear. بس على حسب علمي انا بر الوالدين مش يعني عادي. ما انا ممكن ابقى انا قررت اسلم for example واهلي ما قرروش يسلم. يعني اهلي مش عايزيني يسلم وعايزيني اعبط بطيخه مثلا, بس انا بالنسبه لي البطيخه دي غلط والبطيخه دي مش ربنا. فساعتها حتى ربنا بيقول لك ان انت ساعتها لا تنهرهما, يعني ما تتعاملش معاهم باسلوب وحش وتعامل معهم برضا ورديهم, بس don't go against.
ايوه بس I feel like at one point there will be there is conflict.
A clash definitely.
خلاص ما انت مش هتتعامل معايا عشان انا مثلا عايز اسلم او whatever the reason, وانا مش هعرف اتعامل لان انا عايز اعمل كذا. ماشي, فاحنا هنعمل ايه بقى؟
I think ان
at
ده
this point which prevails.
I think ان ده يعني I don't know مش هضحك عليك مش عايز اقول حاجه تطلع غلط يعني
I'm not saying that what I'm saying is what works for people because like I know for me it creates a lot of internal conflict بس بحس لو it's really hard to imagine it's really hard to imagine like fighting with your parents to the point that you know it hurts them but you do it anyway like I understand why it happens.
What's the purpose behind it? I feel like the purpose is very big.
I agree.
The purpose of the confrontation is very like it's super detrimental.
If I feel like I hurt my mother في موضوع تافه I'll go and
أنا ابن وسخة فاهم.
If I know إن الموضوع كبير وحوار و I can't لا this hurt is temporary بس المشكلة الكبيرة دي لازم تتحل.
يعني لو أنت شايف حاجة عشان دايما الأهالي بيبقى هو شايف الصورة البعيدة والأحسن ليك والمستقبل فاهمة بس لو أنا شايف حاجة أنا متأكد إن هي صح ومتأكد إن هي هتفيدني واهلي مش شايفين كده يعني انا اقول لك على حاجه مش هضحك عليك انا لبست اهلي في الحيط والصراحه حركه وحشه قوي
انا مش عارفه
هيقول ده
وحركه وحشه قوي مني موضوع GUC لا
اشمعنى هو بيعمل
استنى
والله ما حدش يعرف القصه
بس
يعرف القصه
بس انا لبستهم في اتخن حيطه فيك يا مصر يعني الناس دول احنا مسكنا تويشن الجامعه 2 سمسترز اترمى في اقرب زباله لما رحت GUC اقرب زباله خلاص انا دخلت 2 سمسترز في GUC انت بتاخد في GUC 7 مواد في السمستر اول سمستر سقط 6 من 7 تاني سمستر سقط 7 من 7 7 من 7
عشان اللي نجحت بالغلط بس اول سمستر ما فهمش غلط
انا الفتره دي كنت بتكلم مع سودان فيها كتير على الموضوع ده واحنا هو نقعد نتكلم how he would want to transfer ومش عارف ايه وبتاع قلنا خلاص like he'll try he's trying to keep up his grades عشان يعرف يترانسفير براحته ويقنع اهله مش عارف ايه وبتاع
كويس ان they didn't do that عشان they don't transfer credits
at the same time كان بس عشان يقنع اهله يعني at the same time كان بيعمل حوار بيفيد فكان مركز معايا قوي وبعدين في بقى في الاخر ريبورت كارد طلع 3 منهم سقطوا عشان اتندنس 3 تانيين عشان ما حلش تقريبا
بس هي كمان الفكره مش كده الفكره ان انا حتى ساعتها بيفيت انا كنت شغال مش كمدرب كنت شغال كجزء صغير قوي من اوبريشنز وكاستمر ريليشنز وهكذا فالفكره مش كده الفكره انا كنت شايف ان انا مستحيل اكمل في GUC عشان انا مش حاببها ممكن تبقى احسن جامعه في العالم بس not for me فانا مش حاببها very clearly قلت لاهلي انا مش عايز اكمل اتصرفوا let me drop out دخل لي جامعه اونلاين ما اعملش فيها اي حاجه ودينا تنيلنا دلوقتي بس يعني
قد الكلام ده خليك
انا قلت لهم انا مش عايز اكمل فيها وانا مش وش تعليم ادوني فلوس دي وهفتح حاجه اصلا انا عايز اخش بيزنس يا مان في الاول وفي الاخر طب ما هو
من قبل الجامعه اصلا هو شايف ان الجامعه دي مالهاش لازمه
انا عايز اخش بيزنس يعني لو انا عايز اخش ابقى مهندس بيس ابقى دكتور بيس ابقى فيلوسوفر واطلع وابقى فاهمه
بس ما تحس
ارسطوطل بقى يعني لو انا
عندي حطك مع هندسه وبتاع
في نفس الكاتيجوري
على فكره احنا نفس الميجر انا وانت
لا يا
وانا بقول لك ان
انا مش عايز اعمل الميجر ده انا اعمل ميجر كده ده على جنب
لحد دلوقتي مش شايف where philosophy overlaps in this problem
ماشي جميل بعيدا عن المشاكل الشخصيه دي انا يعني
مفيش حاجه شخصيه على البودكاست
انا I saw ان انا مستحيل اكمل في GUC I saw and I wasn't happy I saw and it was fucking me up قوي and so I decided to put myself first سقطت والله العظيم
I will put myself first أسقط 7 مواد
ساعات كتير قوي بقول جملة ما ينفعش أقف في النص بس بقف فيها so أنا I decided to put myself first قررت إني أنا هسقط 7 مواد وهسقط السنة كلها بس هنجح في الدبلومة اللي هتخليني مدرب اللي هتخليني مبدئيا I can make good money out of it واثنين أبقى actually بفولو الكارير باث اللي أنا عايزه يبقى whether بقى it's a full time job or part time job قدام في حياتي ودلوقتي الحمد لله أهلي are to a very large extent satisfied and I'm very satisfied.
But you wanted to travel for uni before.
I did. بس ابويا جاء قال لي مفيش الكلام ده قال لي صباح الخير قال لي عايز اسافر سمر كورس اوكي اوكي بس ان انت تاخد 4 سنين بره قال لي لا قال لي عشان بره يعني
كحرطه بقى
خايف ابوظ من الاخر يعني
وانت فيك
فيك
تندنسي بوظون تيجي منك
في تندنسي بوظون وتندنسي انا عندي مشكله بقى ان انا لما بفتح
كويس انت عارف
لا I know.
انا لما جيت اسافر اصلا احنا كنا بنتمشى وبعدين قال لي جمانة انا مقتنع ان انت هترجعي في السكند سمستر بتاع اول سنه. قلت له مش ربنا يطمنك انت مش انا اقول لك سودان ليه and then you're like انا حاسس ان انت هترجعي وهتشوفي ومش عارفه ايه وبتاع وكده. اليوم اللي مشينا فيه من داون تاون لسياسي وكنا عاملين نتكلم في الجامعه.
He was right.
That's not true.
I was right
لا انا رجعت تاني سنه في الاخر عشان كورونا في فرق.
ثالث سمستر يعني عديتي 3 ومش 2.
قال لي تاني سمستر هترجعي عشان you're not gonna like it, you're gonna want to come back ومش عارفه ايه وبتاع.
I felt like you would have belonged very يعني كنت تستريحي قوي في يوسي.
استريح كده طبيعي ان انا
استريح. انا I saw that يعني كنت تبقي اصلا اكبر مشاكل بالنسبه لي في موضوع الجامعات اللي بره ده transition.
كان شويه
بس احنا واحده من التوبكس اللي احنا عايزين نتكلم على جامعات بره مصر. I love breaking the fourth wall.
هنحط اجنده.
I love breaking the fourth wall with the people watching. واحده من اكبر المشاكل يعني انا بواجهها موضوع الجامعات اللي بره مصر ده هو where your social life is going to plan out, and not just your social life, your actual connections with people, and like how close you are to the people you were once close with. عشان أغلبية الناس لما بيسافروا I have friends that are very 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 close to me then دلوقتي we barely talk. we barely هقولك بعد البودكاست بس we barely talk.
الفورث وول اللي كنت
كده فور التخبيط. بس we're barely close دلوقتي أو we barely talk مش عشان يعني حصل مشاكل بيننا بس عشان انت بعيد وانا مش شاب يعني انا مش بتاع خالص بقى جو التكست.
That was me though. Yeah. احنا
بعدنا مش بعيدنا بس يعني we didn't talk بجنيه.
I didn't talk to so many people. I started talking to a lot of people and they're like يعني it's difficult not because it's hard to keep in touch with people when you're abroad. It's just there's so much change that's happening and sometimes just get caught up in it and you might not be doing anything but it's just different. But maybe because I was on the opposite end, which is I was the one who felt like it was just hard for me for a while to keep in touch with people, that I felt like I knew that didn't change what people meant to me or what the relationship meant to me أو أي حاجة زي كده بس everyone else felt that way.
أنا بقى ما حصلش كده مع إن mine was 16 years abroad. مش
abroad هو كان
abroad لا لأنه كانش abroad it was home.
أيوة يعني أوكي مش هو كان عايش في قطر فورث وول بقى هو كان عايش في قطر بس
لا the viewers know.
ممكن أنا عايز أحكي my friends
هم عارفين أصلا إن أنا كنت عايش في قطر.
ممكن
يكون في ناس جديدة داخلة بودكاست.
صح okay I didn't live here قبل الجامعة for 16 years وبعدين لما جيت هنا I lost touch with most of the people I knew. But I think that was more so amplified لأن كل حد سافر and everyone there knew it was temporary to a certain extent. So all of my closest friends التراما في ألمانيا وأمريكا وكندا وما أعرفش إيه وبتاع. Everyone's experiencing that change. Everyone's going through so much. What used to keep us connected شوية was every 6 months we'd have to go back عشان نجدد إقامتنا. So we'd all meet up تاني for ما أعرف شيء. And then سنة في 2 في الثالثة خلاص you lost that. You stopped going back. أروح أرجع لإيه يعني. مش عارف. I think there's something about knowing it's temporary to a certain extent that makes those connections فعلا very fragile. Yeah, I don't think the connections I made here, if I were to travel for a few years and come back, would falter as easily as the others that did when I was.
You think they faltered more easily?
100%.
These are people you grew up with.
It was very, very.
Is it about how deep the connection was?
And it was school connections. These are people I grew up with. But these are people I only see at school. بعدين عندنا خروجة. بعدين عندنا خروجة فم يوم الخميس وخلاص كده يعني صباح الفل. قشطة كنا نعمل شوية حاجات. But so here it was a life. I led a life. I led a very different life. I did very like.
سافرت ورحت وجيت وقابلت ناس ونزلت
دي اللي عندك حق فيها شوية إن it's difficult to make as many connections as you would here for sure وانت برا بس it's a completely different life like you can't compare. I don't think it's for everyone. I don't think choosing to stay in any way is wrong. يعني ناس كتير تقول لك طبعا احسن انت تسافر بره وتتعلم وتبقى لوحدك مش عارفه ايه. I really feel like it really depends on the person. Sometimes ممكن تبقى غلطان انك سافرت عشان انت كنت ممكن تلاقي نفسك.
بس انا مش حاسس حوار الكونكشنز ده applies to you guys that applied to me. لان انتوا
انت جيت لوحدك؟
لا لان انتوا you grew up here. فانتوا شباب المدرسه دي وبتاع. يعني انا اللي شفتهم داخلين يعني في جماعه شله شويفات وشله ما اعرفش مين وشله اي اس وبتاع. الشباب دي بتفضل مع بعض هم ال10 20 بني ادم بيفضلوا صحاب وهم دول الصحاب اللي بيفضلوا مع بعض يوم في الجامعه. قشطه بيتعرفوا على ناس هنا وناس هنا وناس هنا ودي شلتهم. انا ما كانش عندي كونسبت شله فانا دخلت اتعرفت على كل الشله دي. بس انتوا الموضوع عندكم اكتر او دول صحابي. انا اوريدي عندي صحابي وشلتي بتوع مصر او فاهمه. عتمي بالعكس يعني عتمي it's what you what I would have thought you would have done وانتي بره. ترمي الشبكه بقى وتعالى هنا وتعالى هنا وتعالى هنا.
مين ده؟ And very surprisingly اصلا انا رايحه اللي هو اوكي انا definitely عايزه ابقى اتعرف على people of different like cultures و different countries بقى ومش عارف ايه. and that was me first year. كل حد was foreign مش عارف ايه كده. but honestly I felt like I didn't have as much fun as I did مع مصريين.
ماشي fair enough.
يعني and I feel like a big part of it is طبعا اللي هو when you travel and you're not drinking or you're not smoking or partying as much
culture.
عارف ايه وبتاع. it's harder to find things to bond over. بس حتى just the way you talk مع مصريين you feel like you're very different.
But honestly I feel like that's why honestly I feel like that's why a big part of the culture بره لو انت مصري وما بتشربش you don't like smoke don't do اللي هو conventional drugs وهكذا. I feel like that's
conventional.
يعني
حاجة تقيلة.
لا بس أنا بجد حاسس إن that's also يعني فكرة إن أنا I have to drink أو I have to smoke so I can at least find one thing that's relatable.
You don't have to.
I don't have to.
People are actually very friendly في الحتة دي.
I think most of my friends اللي مبسوطين برا اللي بسألهم أنت مبسوط برا either drink or smoke.
Yeah هي دي المشكلة عشان خلاص you find people where لا يلا نسكور كل يوم يلا يلا نشرب كل يوم يلا فاهم نخرب كل.
What do they call it there, Jay?
For my group of friends احنا قليلين.
ويت
بورسعيد لا يعني even though I had like my group of friends wasn't really big بس اللي هو just the stuff that we do اللي هو traveling بقى inside the UK or doing different things مش عارف ايه. وغير كده حاسة in there's a less mental strain هناك شوية when you feel like there's just less social pressure. يعني هنا a lot of the time with networking أو social مش عارف إيه أنت هتخرج فين هتلبس إيه رايح مع مين.
I think that's shitty Egyptian culture that we feed into. I don't think it's necessary.
But that's the networking culture that exists here. It's not like that there. And some people enjoy it. And sometimes it is fun. Sometimes you feel like there's an energy to it, but sometimes it can also be very draining. So it's both.
I don't know if this still exists, but I think it might have been because I've been off social media. أنا بقيتش حاسس دي خالص. This strain, this networking strain of da. I've been very at ease with it خالص. I think it's the circles we put ourselves into or try to put ourselves into that make us feel that there's this constant social cultural strain of need to network فأنا لازم أروح الساحل في الصيف عشان الشباب كلها هناك وهيبقى منظري.
But sometimes it's just your life.
أنا عمري كان عندي يا عم صباح الفل في أنت بتقول إيه؟ Even when I used to come here in the summer.
But for me مثلا it was just my life like هو just growing up.
That's fine. But feeling like it's a social pressure.
Even if ما ده قصدي بقى هو أنا I grew up with a lot of the same people and I love those people and my
do you Jay?
I do know I actually really do and then a lot of it برضو was يعني مثلا ساحل culture is very different يعني growing up
Sahel culture is disgusting.
growing up it was not like that though يعني ساحل كان
سيدي كرير وكده اوف ده كان ideal ساحل
ده اللي كان بالنسبة لي هو it was very very family oriented. دلوقتي it's a lot more
what car do you drive انت لابس كام براند على رجلك وعلى فاهم.
ايوه
it's disgusting.
بس هو
للأسف
this is what you're surrounded with
I don't think it is though. If you take the decision of لا أنا عايز أطلع دهب أو عايز أطلع ساحل حشيش أو عايز أطلع أي حاجة في الصيف which you can easily do you're going to be surrounded by a very different culture.
And I think that's going to start changing.
FOMO قوي بقى.
I think that's going to start changing too. I think the
people are going to stop going
لا I think غير كده إن هو I think the change that happened in ساحل هو اللي كان يعني
Think it's
حصل
gonna
بس
spread?
أسرع في جونة.
Think it's gonna spread to these places?
Yeah.
مستحيل.
No, I'm pretty.
مستحيل.
والسهل
I think it
عشيش
will.
والحتة لا على
مستحيل.
فكرة لحد دلوقتي شايف ان جونة is not as انا بموت في الساحل. يعني انا لو عليا انا بقالي 21 سنة والله من ساعة لما اتولدت 21 سنة بطلع الساحل كل سنة. انا بكره الساحل دلوقتي عشان بعيدا بقى عن القرف بتاع ان لازم يبقى معايا باس عشان اخش كل الدين حته. الحوار ده مقرف.
قذر المكان ده بجد وحش يا جدعان. انتوا بتروحوا لي.
ولو انت جروب كبير هيطلع
because of how I grew up.
اي لو انت جروب كبير هيطلع الدين امك عشان تخش اي مكان عشان محتاج انف باسز ومحتاج باسز للبيتش ومحتاج باسز للحمام ومحتاج باسز كل حته. بس انا بحب الساحل عشان انا بالنسبه لي خلاص انت عارف لما بتتربى على حاجه فده بالنسبه لك اللي هو like
Fair enough, it's different for you.
تريح يبقى هو ساحل. بس انا بالنسبه لي جونه is not like that. جونه is flashy بس it's not يعني as flashy as عيل عنده 13 سنه فاهم راكب فيراري ومعاه بالنسياجا. يعني it's not that disgusting و it's not flaunting.
I think Gona is classier than that.
I would ماشي. I would not say it's disgusting because زي it's different for us. I think it's very different for other people. هو الولد اللي عنده 13 سنة اللي كده ده I do not connect with him whatsoever. But I feel like that's all he knows برضو. It's how he was raised. It's the people he's surrounded with.
Yes,
trying to fit
how
in.
he was raised has
It's
made
just-
him conceited and I don't want to deal with him. هو براحته بقى ربنا
I
معاه.
don't feel like I'm connecting with them. بس ما أعرفش I can't feel like I'm looking down on them قوي.
I'm disgusted.
ما هي دي looking
disgusted.
down.
لا
أنت
not
من حد
necessarily.
بتحس ان انت عشان انت شايف ان انت بتعمله احسن.
لا بحس ربنا معاك. بس انا مش
بتشفق
دعوة.
عليه يعني ما دي
انا
اوحش.
مش ربنا معاك انا مش دعوة. انت لو مبسوط بسط.
انا ما اعرفش انا مش شايفها كده. انا شايف ان عشان هم الكالتشر بتاعتهم مختلفه تماما طريقه حياتهم اللايف ستايل مختلفه تماما وهم صغيرين. بس ده يعني انا ما اتربيتش كده وانا ما اتربيتش على ان يعني عشان ابان جامد وعشان ابقى بهاف فن لازم ابقى فاهم واخد عربيه ابويا الجي واجن ونازل اشحن بيها.
انا شايفه ان it's not necessary.
Yes.
بس حاسه هو and this is actually I think one of the biggest like انت تقول هو it's the people you expose yourself to مش عارف ايه وبتاع. A lot of the conversations that you end up like listening to about like marriage ومش عارف ايه وبتاع is that people tell you or you hear from families المفروض يكون حد from the same if not higher circle. عشان كده you feel like your friends
تعرف
and the
أنا
people
حتى
you get to
higher
meet
is not necessarily good خالص.
for لا when you're the girl. When the girl بتقلك إن يعني you
Are you being sexist?
This is actually very interesting.
No, I am being realistic. ده اللي بيتقال.
Because for us it's like higher but if it's too higher it's like okay now
أيوة,
you're
it's
playing
different.
out of your field technically.
بس for
فيلد ولا ليج؟
نفس الحاجة
يعني
لا no there's a difference. Out of your league is اللي هو
she's not prettier.
No, I'm not talking about كده. بتكلم out of your league as in إن أنت you won't be able to live with that. فاهم قصدي؟
أيوة.
يعني صعب قوي إن أنت
مش هتعرف تتعايش مع بني آدم ده لأن they were raised on very different values very different حاجة كل حاجة.
ودي مشكلة تانية كبيرة. ما أعرفش ليه.
ودي مشكلة.
أنا حاسس دي تانية مشكلة كبيرة قوي تانية إن دلوقتي بقى كل لما تبقى أغنى كل لما لازم تبقى بتعمل حاجات معينة متخلفة فشخ. زي مثلا ان انا يبقى اولادي ما بيتكلموش غير very ironic.
I think these are the ones we hear about.
These are the ones that are all around us. العيال اللي يا عم العيال اللي سايقين سوري بس
أيوة
العيال اللي سايقين عربيات بمليون و2 مليون و3 مليون و4 مليون جنيه. ربنا انا يعني ربنا يرزقك 10 غيرها. بس the concept of giving a fucking 19 20 21 year old child حاجه بتمن
انت 21 year old
أنا child.
غير كده الاوفر obsession بتاع الديزاينر براندز. بس again I feel like that ties a lot into insecurity ان انت بتحاول.
I don't think so. I think this is all they know.
أيوة.
And هو انا متربي انا من وانا عيل بلبس جوتشي. This is all I know. I don't think it's just seeing بقى انه because I'm wearing Gucci. انا
المشكلة اللي انت for the people.
معلم فوقك من نفسك بتضحكش على نفسك يعني.
اي بس for the يعني انا شايفه ان it doesn't have to be security خالص. I think بالضبط ان some people live like that. بس حاسه هو that's why it can sometimes be hard for people who don't have those same privileges but are in the same
social circles.
حاسه هو it's a different type of strain, different type of mental strain.
صح. I agree.
It affects you يعني you feel like you're out of place.
So
Because خلاص حطينا concept in your worth is very much determined by the brands that you wear أو the things that
Gucci
you
corner
have
في الجامعة.
أو يعني
أنا
I don't
ليه
know what that is.
حاجات متخلفة دي.
I think I've lost that over the years. I felt it as a child. But I think once I broke 16, حسيت بدأت أحس إنه I swear I was like يعني I could never judge the person in front of me by what they're wearing or what they're ما أعرف شيء أو
I don't
بتاع.
think people do that consciously هنا حتى. I think sometimes it's just what you do automatically.
And hence
It
I
just
could
happens.
never care if someone were to judge. Like it's always how you're carrying yourself بالنسبة لي, how you speak, how you talk, how you respect, how you act, how you بس اللي انت لابسه الباباك جايبك
أي هو
يعني أنا عندي a different kind of respect مثلا for حد مثلا 25 26 ومشتري his own good car with his own money اوف يعني دي بالنسبه لي لا انت dedicated انت hard worker انت اشتغلت انت عارف حتى لو بابا اداك الشغل بس انت اشتغلت at a very young age برافو جبت عربيه بس فكره ان انا هحترمك اكتر عشان انت لابس ما اعرفش ايه وانت عندك 17 سنه بتقولوا ايه يا جدعان ده هبل يا جدعان يعني ايه
people lost putting worth in themselves. I feel like it affects people so much more than we actually realize. حس ان يعني and not just this حاجات كتير
اظن الناس دي هتكبر من غير شخصيه
انهي ناس
اللي شايفين their worth and their
Yes بس الناس دي
أيوة.
هيكبروا
cars
مش
and
محتاجين شخصية عشان most people who start
Oof.
being very rich.
how many لما أخذ people do we know personally that are well off وما عندهمش شخصيه
ايوه and that's not a problem بالنسبة لهم. ليه؟ عشان هو
فكك.
ايوه صح انا معاك 100% بس دي مش مشكلة بالنسبة له.
لا هتبقى مشكلة لأنه at one point you can keep getting closer to a person because of their things بس at one point خلاص انت you're way past the things انت عايز شخصية ولقيت انه ما فيش فانت بتقوم خلاص انت مش نافع. There's only a certain connection, there's an extent, there's a barrier to your connection with that person because of their stuff. So at one point it's like okay وانت ما فيش حاجة يعني مش هيبقى في علاقة لأنه ما فيش حاجة
And
ما فيش
so
شخصية.
expanding on that, do you think money is bad?
What? No, hell no.
what no show me
By
the
the way,
money.
I don't think money is bad. I think money is great.
Money is very important.
Money is super important.
Money is very important.
Super important.
It's just what you do with it.
Yes. I feel like too much money it exposes who you actually
I think
truly are.
financial freedom
It's
is
very important.
financial freedom is amazing, but the definition of freedom for each person is important. يعني for someone اللي مش لاقي ياكل financial freedom is ان انا اعرف اكل كل يوم براحتي. ناس تانية financial freedom is ان انا اعرف اجيب الشنط البراندز اللي انا عايزاها كل شهر براحتي من غير ما اقعد افكر البادجت نفسي على السنة. ف I think it's the values and barriers you put for yourself as financial freedom لأن at one point إذا بدأت تتبهوى and all you see as financial freedom is I have to be able إن أنا صايف في الساحل السنة دي.
It's keeping up with the
وأنا ما
Joneses
أعرفش
بقى
إيه.
ان انا ما اعرفش مين جاب عربية ايه فانا لازم اجيب عربية
This makes your money toxic. But
yeah.
having the money just so I feel free to do what I want with my life. أقود حياة عدلة بشخصيتي العدلة.
I agree 100%. JJ انت في حاجة بتقوليها about women and
Marriage.
about marriage.
I was actually back to that idea في اللي هو maintaining your life as much as we can disagree about the things that people look for as maintenance or to be like financially free or whatever there are traits in people that make them feel like I need this or I want this or whatever and we can discuss about whether it's right or wrong and people can try to grow from it especially when you grow up in a culture that makes it very clear that you as a woman need to marry someone into your social class if not higher and you as a man need to be able to boost yourself up a lot so that you can feel like you're capable أنا مش بس إنك تفتح بيت أيوة مش بس إنك تفتح بيت أنت you really need to maintain that kind of life it's harder to let go of that need for that
money?
kind of life when all worth is placed in that خلاص أنت بقيت فكر يعني ناس كتير بتقول لك هو في ناس مع فكرة إن أنت لازم يكون حد شبهك culturally that means being in the same social circle but other people tell you اللي هو لا money isn't everything and you can just marry someone based off of the love and go with that and you'll be very happy it's just a matter of the people who break through from feeling like money is what worth is and then other people
I think
like,
it's a matter of chance. I don't think either one is right or either one is wrong. I think it's just the fact that if you're looking for someone quote unquote similar, there's a higher chance of finding someone that's similar that has been raised in a similar way, that treats money a similar way, that's lived in a similar social class. But if this is not what you're looking for, you don't want someone that's similar to you per se. فلا يعني love someone higher in a lower social class, do whatever you want, but know that there are risks of culture there, and that's okay. It's a risk. It doesn't mean you guys are different and you can't live with each other والجو اللي الأهل بتعمله ده. But there's a risk of لا هو ممكن في احتياجات أو كده أنت مش هتعرف تلبيها أو ممكن أنت تعوزهم وهي ما تعرفش تلبيها.
Yeah, I think it's just it really comes down to just زي ما أنت بتقول I agree with everything. بس I think sometimes what people forget is that love is not enough. Like love is not the one thing that you can go off of and feel like
I agree.
everything else will just work out.
100%.
I agree. I don't think it applies at all times. I think sometimes love can be enough. I don't think الطبيعي إن love is enough.
I mean,
I think respect is very important.
I was just about to say.
لا I mean love respect قصدي بس إنه مش بس يعني money أو social class أو education أو ما أعرف شيء. Sometimes love and respect وكده is enough to lead a relationship حتى if you're very different as people.
Do you think you can have one without the other? Love but not respect, or respect and not love? كده.
Yes, I do think. عشان كده toxic. It's
Which
toxic
one?
relationships.
Like love but no respect?
with no respect.
And respect with no love.
Respect with no love.
Respect
I think
with-
is
هقول لك على
not
حاجة.
toxic. the
Respect
same
with
way.
yes, respect with no love can breed very very healthy families.
We
That's
were
what
talking
happened
about
with arranged
جواز
marriage.
جواز صالونات ان انت عادي انت ممكن اتنين احنا كل حاجه احنا على الورق احنا بيرفكت فاهم نفس اهل شبه بعض قوي
ايوه بس شايف بقى هنا
نفس المستوى
لازم يبقى في
الاجتماعي.
ريسبكت بلس الحاجات التانية بقى المستوى الاجتماعي والتعليم
بالظبط.
والما
بس
اعرفش
الناس
ايه
كان
وما أعرفش
عندها احترام مختلف اصلا لفكره الجواز وفكره الريليشن شيب والمسؤوليات ومش عارف ايه والكلام
لانه
ده
بيبقوا
كله.
جاهزين لانه مفيش حاجه that's driving them الحب مفيش حاجه driving them انهم يrush into that
هو عايز
step
يتجوز هو خلاص هو عايز
Everything
هو
was
انا
a lot.
حاسس ان
مرحلة
حياتي
جديدة
is in
من
a
حياتي.
very good place ان انا اتجوز انا جاهز بس حاجه تانية هو
بس that was
انا لازم
more for
ابدا
the man
اشتغل
than the
عشان لازم
woman.
افتح بيت عشان انا هموت واتجوز البني ادم ده
اي بس ده كان اكتر للراجل than الست يعني خلاص there was a time where لو الراجل قادر يفتح بيت خلاص سن الست ما يفرقش بقى في انت جاهزه ولا مش جاهزه انت بتكبري وعايشه على فكره ازاي اخلي بالي من بيتي ازاي
زي لو انت
انضف
ست ما
واطبخ
بتشتغليش.
واربي ومش عارف ايه
بس
no matter what age you're at one point your feeling of readiness is not something that's taken into account because it's all you've
it's not
grown
taken
up
into
to
account by
practice.
you or by your family
by culture
ايوه I'm talking about the person being ready
ايوه
يعني لما
هو خلاص انت
الجواز
بالنسبه
صالونات
لك
بيبقى
انا
الاتنين
حياتي
جاهزين
كلها is dedicated to being able to take care of a husband and a family and a house.
لا ده لو الاتفاق من الاول ان هو ده هيبقى دورك
هو
كست
that really is a lot of
think ده
like
دور
the
أي
majority
زوجة.
of the يعني دور
لا
أي
زي
زوجة.
ما دور
taking care of your husband and your kids
زي ما دور اي زوج ان هو
أي زوج.
يخلي باله من مراته ايوه زي ما دور اي زوج ان هو يخلي باله من مراته من اولاده ومن البيت وان هو اللي يصرف وان هو
ايوه دور ماشي بس it's not a focus يعني your
معاك.
focus is not
صح.
to
okay.
do those things.
لا but it is عشان كده again so it goes back to والله يا ماما انا عايز اطلع ارتيست ايه يا حبيبي مفيش ارتيست هيفتح بيت مفيش مغني هيفتح بيت مش هتعرف تاكل هتعيش في بيت اهلك لا وانا لازم اعمل عشان اعرف اطلع فلوس عشان اعرف اتجوز عشان اعرف ما اعرفش ايه
I don't think that's a healthy mentality for
ايوه it's
I
not
don't
but I'm
think
saying
it's a
the
healthy
culture leads
sequence.
both
I don't think it's healthy sequence اصلا
ايوه بس بس انا بتكلم على ان يعني the choice to dedicate your entire life to having a family and a house and a husband that you take care of is 100% okay. But it being
if you want
أيوة,
You mean as a housewife?
The choice. ماشي.
Are we defining it as a housewife or
أيوة, I guess.
as a regular wife that's working that also does this?
No, as a housewife بس حاسة دلوقتي كمان في دلوقتي conversations about working moms and wives and everything about اللي هو that it can be a shared responsibility. Everything else about like taking care of the finances as much as taking care of the kids in the house ومش عارف ايه وبتاع. I don't think that existed زمان.
صح.
And بس I think because I'm not advocating for it, but I think that's kind of what made it work for those people. The people who had arranged marriages but were able to make it work.
So you mean arranged marriages don't work today?
I don't think they would work the same way and or as well.
No.
عشان حاسس دلوقتي خلاص في بقى حتة I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think بالعكس
حتة الحب كبيرة قوي.
حتة الحب كبيرة قوي وغير كده بقى في حتة إن حرية الاختيار في حاجات كتير قوي ما بقاش في
ده لسه في الكالتشر بتاعنا احنا الكالتشر بتاع الشباب اللي بيسمعوا البودكاست الشباب اللي بيعملوا بودكاست الكالتشر دي اللي هو انا بصيف كل سنه وبسافر فين كل سنه وبعمل فين
arranged marriages are still very common
انت عارفه لا
and
جواز
still work
الصالونات
very well.
احنا بنتكلم يعني
I would not compare it to how they worked before
100% عشان زمان الجواز was extremely sacred
I think
أيوة،
concept الجواز كله بوز هو مش فكرة arranged
أيوة،
بقى ولا مش
بالظبط،
arranged
عشان دلوقتي
مش necessarily يعني في حاجات انا مقتنعه باظت فيها وحاجات تانية حاسه اللي هو it would change because it had to because of just people have اللي هو خلاص انت في احساس ان انت كست بتحاولي انك dedicate your life to something انت انك تحاولي dedicate your life for something that you feel like is just not what you're best at. You just don't want to be molded into that figure.
That's
you
beautiful.
think it's the fact women feel that they want to do something else هو ده اللي مبوظ الجواز؟
No, it's a change. It's one of the
I
things.
don't think so.
خلي بالك
That's where she pushed it.
No, not لا انا بقول دي من الحاجات اللي اتغيرت اللي خلت الكونسبت بتاع الارينج ماريج ما ينفعش يتطبق بنفس السكسس ريت كوت ان كوت بتاع زمان because خلاص انت كنت عندك ان انت عندك الراجل متمسك بدوره الست متمسكه بدورها الاثنين مقتنعين بان خلاص حياتهم عباره عن البيت والعيله ومش عارفه ايه وكده that respect element made it work
okay.
دلوقتي
respecting yourself and your role كمان مش بس respecting
ايوه دلوقتي rightfully so in my opinion بقى the roles changed
and I feel like that's beautiful in they did عشان اقول لك ليه أنا دلوقتي
not to say the people who didn't change it are wrong
yes
but it 100%. has to be your choice you see what you can do what you're best at في الحتة دي and you follow through with that
off the top of my head I can name 6 men and women that I know who've gotten divorced طلقوا
at a young age بعد ما
اللي هو اتجوزوا 2-3 اتطلقوا في ناس اعرفهم اتجوزوا 20 25 30 سنه واتطلقوا
بيل جيتس
شفت الحوار ده insane
حاجه 70 مليار
I saw a tweet that was insane it was like everyone's focused on the settlement of the 73 billion no one realized that after 27 years of good relationships good vibes and all the money in the world they still couldn't make that relationship work and they had to get a divorce
هبل
What do
you think is the thing that can make a 27-year marriage break
the same things about 2 years
boredom.
same things about 2 years about 3 years about 4 years
boredom.
You think it's boredom
خلاص
because love is not half of it love is not half a relationship love is not even 25%
بالعكس and has the fact you have all that money makes it harder for you to maintain that relationship
because you won't appreciate it
no because there's so much you can do in
there's
life.
so much options
okay
like kings
you do not
I'm serious
love someone enough if you feel like all the money in the world you can't share
like kings when you have so much power
and
so much money at one point you're so blinded it's like all I do want to fuck a whore every other day and I do want to see this girl والعب هنا واعمل هنا واروح اسافر هنا وقت هنا I'm a king bro
فكك من اللعب انا مش عايز
فكك
من اللعب انا مش عايز الريسبونسبيلتي بتاع انا مش عايز فكره ان انا افضل انام جنب حد كل يوم في السرير literally الموضوع ممكن يبقى بسيط للدرجه دي so I feel like
do you think you love that person at that point or did you just
I think you love the person but it's not
whoa ثانية واحدة عشان في حاجات كتير بتقل
لا I don't think love matters then I don't think the determinant يعني
I think you still love them I just don't think it's enough at that point to عوض عن الدنيا كلها
I don't think love is the denominator يعني أنا حاسس إن الأساس ساعتها إن أنتوا الاتنين تبقوا
عايزين نفس الحاجة
خلاص ايوه عايزين نفس الحاجة بس أنت كتير قوي أنت عايز نفس الحاجة مع حد أنت بتحبه بتكون واخده في حساب اللي أنت عايز تعمله
حلو بس أنا بقى I have the freedom to do so much and you're limiting me so much and this person doesn't want to do those same things and they're very limiting to my life and my life is short and ايوه
both of you wouldn't say يعني انتوا دلوقتي لو جالكم
because I don't feel limited
يعني انتوا لو جالكم كل الفلوس دي and you were in the same lifestyle that Bill Gates had I don't think either one of you would think that the love wasn't enough صح؟
ايوه which is why I think after 27 years you feel like okay now we're just doing the same shit that we've been doing for the past 5 years and I want to do different shit and you want to do different shit and we have a lot of money and our lives are ending and we خلاص طب صباح الفل بقى
so you think love is temporary in that case.
No, Gigi. I think love
أو إن
is...
it's
I-
exponential بس لتحت.
لا I think
exponential لتحت
غريبة قوي ما هي
بينزل بسرعة قوي.
economics وphilosophy
why ليه؟
لا
ممكن
Because
gradual
خلاص
عادي.
بقى with your age it's not gradual.
لا، لا.
that
ليه؟
you cross
ليه؟
انت بتقول حاسس ان حياتك بتخلص مش عارف ايه فخلاص you feel like
بالعكس، يعني
you
حاسس إن
reached
حياتي
an age where it
بتخلص.
starts to decline quicker
لا
and quicker
جمانة
because
انت
you feel like
بتشوفي
oh I
الناس
have
اللي
all this
عندهم
money.
60 و70 و80 سنة وبيرقصوا مع بعض
في ناس كده في ناس بتاخدها انه خلاص this is my life ending
you
انا
both-
هاجي العب دلوقتي لا انا عايز ابقى with my
خلاص
wife
بقى you want to
ونرتاح
set-
مع بعض
مش الراجل
وsettle.
والست يعني الست والراجل الاثنين ممكن يفكروا
بس
بالطريقة
انتوا
دي
the main factor here is money and boredom صح؟
لا انا بالنسبة لي
ايوه I think the financial freedom and power to do everything.
So you think power in that case outweighs the love?
No, I think it's 100% boredom. I definitely think in sorry.
Bro, when you look at all the cases
let me
of kings and
rephrase.
rich people, none of them are married.
So if
Let's
you
do
were
much
in the
power.
same position
Let me
why would it be
rephrase.
different?
Stanley, let me rephrase. I think it's 90% boredom, 10% money and power. And by boredom I mean ان انت بتوصل لمرحلة هو عمر ما حد قال ان الجواز هو بس عن الحب ده قشطه ده اسبكت من الموضوع بس في الاول وفي الاخر لو انا وانتي ما بقيناش بنكبر مع بعض we're not growing together we're not sharing the same experiences because I feel like love is you feed love it's not اللي هو مش فاكتور اللي هو انا موجود وافضل طول عمري موجود هو مش نور هو مش اللي هو زرار هتدوسي عليه هو خلاص بقى خلاص هو ده ماشي بس اللي بيحصل ان لو هو فعلا زرار وتفضلي دايس عليه عادي طب ما هي اللمبه ممكن تفرقع ما انت تعمل ايه بتغير اللمبه تجيب لمبه
But
جديده
that's very different from what you guys are saying.
لا اللي انا بحاول اوصله لك ان انا بالنسبه لي you need to feed love فهم apparently 27 سنه جواز و I don't want to like claim that they weren't feeding their love because I don't know but I think in if they continue to feed their experiences together and feed their growth and feed their love I don't think they would have gotten a divorce ممكن على فكرة يبقوا أصلا هم متجوزين و they knew that things wouldn't work out
من فكرة just Bill Gates' case بتاعته هو شخصيا just فكرة اللي هو the idea that money and power can outweigh love and that's why I'm asking you.
I don't know Warren Buffett is pretty fucking happy.
أيوة بس if you had that money and power
I think it's a
then you feel
personality
like-
thing. I definitely think it's a personality thing.
How so?
I think there are personalities people feel like, oh my god, I'm so glad I'm so rich that I can be very content with my wife. And there are people that are like, oh my god, I feel like I'm missing out on my whole life because I'm here with my wife.
But your first instinct was the latter, so?
For Bill Gates,
What about you?
I don't know like I don't مش agree بس I don't fully relate to the notion عامة اللي فكرة إن هي because it's money and power فاللي هو because
I feel like it's such a big factor. I
Of
feel
course.
like
Do you
Of
feel like
course
you're
it is,
powerful enough to have access to so much more in your life that you
I feel like
No,
a
that's
poor couple after 27 years would feel like fuck it يعني it's been 27 years let's just live out the rest of our lives.
I don't think it's
Bill's
fuck
like
it.
oh my god I've been missing out on so much I need to go live the
Really?
rest of my
That's
life.
where your
على
mind
فكرة-
goes?
no لا كريم if you're well off if you can sustain a well off life مش just بيل جيتس لو انت سايق يا عم
Yes, I think it's easier for rich people to get divorced.
I'm not talking about easier طب ما انت you can get all that ما انت you can go party every single day مش هتبقى شاري يخت فاهم ب 200 مليون دولار بس you can go party ممكن تسافر وممكن تشوف and you can فاهم
أنا حسبتي is very mathematical. I think the opportunity cost for richer people is much higher than for poorer
That's
people.
because ماشي
that's
بس
because of the
انت-
options
But that's
Oh.
because of you're putting different weights for when you're talking about rich people, you're putting different weights for love and for power. And in this case, the weight that you put for power is bigger than the weight you put for love. You think that once
Again, I think it's a personality
إحنا-
thing. I think
إحنا-
for some people it could be, but it's more common in richer people with more power because the opportunity cost is so high.
أيوة بس think
No, I can do this and this and this and
بالظبط
this and
the
this
weight.
and this and
انت
this.
بالنسبة لك انت بتقيم احساس ان انت ممكن تعمله بالباور اكتر من تقييمك
أنا بالنسبة لي لأ،
للحب اللي انت
بس
حاسه
I see
تجاه
it.
الشخص اللي انت عايش معاه.
I see it very much.
ايوه ماشي ما هو in that case it feels like that love isn't the kind of love that was meant to last to begin with.
I mean, 27 years is
Why?
pretty fucking good.
Why? Because it either dies out the way I was explaining,
or
in
you
which
both
case
die
it's not the same
or you both
anymore.
die
Oh, agreed.
Or
I think it
maybe-
dies out.
So it's
I don't think it's
not-
just it's a kidda, but I think over years of the opportunity cost growing, over the years of it not being fed. So basically, كفة بتبقى كده, but this keeps growing, and if this doesn't keep growing to keep up with it, This is, if your love doesn't keep growing to keep up with the opportunity
You
cost
think
of the
love
power,
ماشي ما هو
then
لا،
and
المفروض تبقى
وهتقع
العكس.
تبقى العكس.
جيجي هي دي
ما
فكرة.
ينفعش
أنا ما
أكون
أعتقدش.
if I am prioritizing the power
No, I'm
and waiting for
not.
love to catch up,
No.
then I'm
JJ, I don't
prioritizing
think-
myself, and I don't think my happiness
most people
includes that love.
prioritize their careers, not
I don't think المفروض يبقى فيه المفروض يعني كوت ان كوت. ما اعتقدش ان لازم يبقى فيه حاجه هو ده الصح.
ما هو ده ممكن اقوله في اي حاجه بس بعد كده ما بيكونش فيه مناقشه.
لا ما people carry their lives differently. ما انا ممكن ابقى متجوز
that's
وبعد
true.
كده اتطلق وبعد كده اتجوز نفس الست تاني وابقى سعيد فشخ.
That's true.
فاهمة؟
But think about it. In this situation, if you're looking at power exceeding love and you're waiting for love to catch up, that's kind of like saying, okay, كل حد بيعمل في الآخر اللي هيبسطه, right? That's just people's nature.
صح.
If you feel like your happiness, your power comes more from it.
في عيال بيصوتوا بره but it's okay. كل ده هيتشال في الباك جراوند نويز. المونتاج.
If you feel like your power makes up more of your happiness than the love that you share with that person, then that means you don't love them
No.
enough
This is
for
more-
it.
oh, enough.
ماشي.
Oh my.
هو okay then وقتها that feels like it's wasn't the kind of love that was meant to
عادي.
last.
It was the kind of love, it just wasn't treated right. I mean, Yousef, it was
Treated
not.
right.
Oh, I think it
not
was
fed,
the
right?
لا I think it was the kind
I
of
think
love
it's a
that
fire,
was
yeah.
I think it was the kind of love that was meant to last for 27 years بس not necessarily for 50 or 40.
فكرة نصيب وكده
ليه نصيب؟ لا
نصيبك يا بيلو والله يا حبيبي قلبي معاك.
27 سنة
مش
دول
لازم يا معلم.
وخلاص بقى كان مكتوب لكم انكم تطلقوا. ما هو
لا مش مكتوب لكم. احنا يا معلم عشنا 27 سنه وبعد كده في السنه
سيبك
28 قررنا اللي هو مش يعني مش شكلنا مش نافعين فخلاص شكرا. انا مش شايف ان هي حاجه وحشه يعني يا نهار ابيض
I think
بقاله
the
27
relationship
سنه.
with love and power is what I'm concerned with. Like اللي هو just thinking about how
I feel like if the power is mutual then يعني if the
مع الحسب
ايش العلاقة؟ It's just a concept of at a certain point is the opportunity cost of not being with that person higher than being with the يعني الحاجات اللي انا ممكن اعملها when I'm not with that person احلى واحسن لي من الحاجات اللي اعملها ومن that love من قد ايه I love them. خلاص once الكفة دي تقلت ودي ما doesn't keep up it's gone. And I feel like it's harder for people that are not as well off ان الكفة دي تتقلب.
But when you love someone it's kind of like the things that you do are made better when they're with you.
لحد امتى؟
لحد ما انت تفضل تحبهم.
ايوه بس what if they don't want to do the same things you want to do? You grow apart. You grow into different people.
قال ان انت بتبقى عارف
I think you can love someone and not be able to live your life with that person.
Okay,
طبعاً.
interesting. Explain.
طبعا.
How?
I love يوسف سودان.
أيوة.
انا ما اقدرش اعيش مع يوسف سودان.
حبيبي.
انا ما اقدرش اشتغل مع يوسف سودان.
حبيبي ثلاثة
ايوه بس we're
عادي
not talking
جداً.
about just friendship love.
I'm
We're
not
talking
talking
about
about
relationship love.
ايوه ماشي. I can relationship love someone.
I can
Their
relationship love someone.
their habits their habits, their lifestyle, their way of thinking, their ما اعرفش ايه. It can
But
be
not want to live your life.
مش هنعرف نليد similar lives. This is someone that wants to is planning. They've been wanting since a child to backpack through Europe and Asia and Africa. This is what they're planning their whole lives for. And I am someone that wanted to settle down and get enough money to have a mansion. I love you with all my heart, but we're not going to be able to lead our lives because we want very, very, very different things. I think that divorces happen a lot of the time because they want very, very different
I think
things.
some divorces happen and people still love each other. But they just
again, in that
logic
case-
overpowers it. Yeah.
In that case, you're still choosing that seeing that one thing will make you happier than that love, than that person, than having them there. At one point,
that happens.
يا عم it happens. ما بقولش ان it doesn't happen.
I mean, it's very
أيوة،
natural.
ما بقولش ان it doesn't happen. بس when you think about it and see اللي هو that backpacking or just that backpacking will feel lonely or that mansion will feel empty when that one person isn't there. Then that's the kind of love
I just feel
that
like
you look
I'm
for.
incapable of backpacking. She feels like she's incapable of settling down. It's something that's been so ingrained in their heads
بس
for
لما
years.
انت تبقى ماشي بس لما يكون في confusion
For one does the other and feels unhappy. So you sit and wait for that mansion and you feel unhappy because you're there.
على نقطة إنه one of them makes you feel happier than the other.
No, I don't think it's binary.
I
don't think it's يا دي. بس خلاص it's a decision you make. Some people make this decision and feel unhappy, and some people like choose to stay and feel unhappy, and some people choose to leave and become unhappy. You never know.
You never know.
I honestly look at it as a color gradient. أنا ممكن أبقى لوني أزرق والبنت اللي أنا بحبها لونها أصفر مثلا، وإحنا الاثنين
هنتقابل في الأخضر.
literally إن إحنا الاثنين لا إن إحنا الاثنين لا
بس لو هي أحمر مش هنتقابل في البينك.
لا اللي إحنا الاثنين شايفين إن إحنا الاثنين مع بعض ممكن نتقابل أو ممكن نعيش حياة and lead a very very beautiful and happy life في الأخضر. بس هي اصلا ممكن تبقى بتدور.
By the way, that this is kind of philosophical the way you're talking about. just to point that out.
ايوه هي الاعداد دي.
شوف الكتب اللي بتتكلم.
لا بكلم جد، في كتاب بيقول اخضر واصفر وازرق.
انا ده اللي بيقعد يدرسوه.
يوسف سودان فيلسوف قديم. لا بس معاك سيريس يعني احنا الاتنين ممكن نبقى عايزين نكمل حياه في الاخضر، بس انا ممكن ابقى ازرق وهي صفرة وانا بموت في الاصفر، بس الاصفر بيحب الاصفر وبيدور على الاصفر اللي شبهه.
بس خلاص
يعني انا اقول لك على حاجه،
بس انت لو بتحب شغله هتتقابل في الاخضر.
لا
احنا بنقول
ما هي لو ما لازم يبقى نفس بالنسبه لي
لازم. ممكن ابقى بحب البني ادم ده هو البني ادم اللي في الازرق اللي انا بحبه، بس انا لايف ستايل الازرق ده مش نافعني.
ايوه
يبقى يعني انت بتبقى مبسوط اكتر في ان انت تبقى في الاصفر على ان انت تروح الاخضر.
I don't think love is enough.
بس بس وقتها that's the kind of love that I think wasn't meant to us.
انا هقول لك على حاجه، انا بالنسبه لي انا ما اقدرش اعيش مع حد مع واحده لازم بالنسبه لها ان هي very weird، بس انا ما اقدرش اعيش مع حد لازم يطلب مني a fixed amount of income every single month because I don't know what I want to do in life.
دي واحدة قلت لا بس
ايه؟
دي واحدة قلت
لا fixed amount of income مش ليها.
الله that's the role of the man in the house. مش عارفة
ايه تطلبي fixed amount of income على اي اساس كست؟
ايوه لا يعني انا بالنسبه لي
يعني كست حسيني خدامه يعني كست
يعني تطلب منه fixed amount of income.
لا انا
يعني ايه
fixed amount of income I mean انا ما اقدرش
a certain lifestyle a certain social threshold.
لا بالعكس social threshold I understand lifestyle I understand بس انا ما اقدرش fixed income عادة بيبقى associated with ان انت بتشتغل في شركة usually a 9 to 5 غير لو انت
I don't think she's gonna care where you work as long as the social threshold and lifestyle is.
انا بقى بالنسبة لي انا I'm a very experimental person very experimental فانا ممكن ابقى النهاردة في انا ممكن ابقى يا باشا فكك بقى انا
الفورث وول بقت الترابيزه.
انا ممكن النهارده ابقى بعمل فلوس من البودكاست وبكره فكست البودكاست وفتحت شركه بعمل منها فلوس
بعد انت هتضحك على الناس بقى.
يا عم بقى $4 يعني قاعد ستاربكس. بس بجد انا واحد من الناس I love to experiment. I would want to not backpack بس يعني I would want to travel the world. I would want to see new places بس I don't know what هي دي الفكرة ان انا بالنسبة لي I feel like I need someone who is as crazy and experimental as I am. بس ما اقدرش اعيش مع واحدة تيجي تقول لي ايه وده حقها تالت ومتلت، بس انا ما اقدرش اتعايش معاها وهي جايه بتقول لي لو سمحت انا عايزة 1 2 3 4 ونثبت في مكان معين انا ما اعرفش. انا عايز اعيش في مصر.
انت شخص ما بتعرفش تستقر في
اي حاجه
position.
but I want to be more PC.
لا صح.
شغلانه
يعني ممكن استقر شغلانه معينه انا بحبها فشخ بس يعني انت فاهم الفكره ان انا ما اقدرش افضل.
I think what Joumana is trying to say which we agree I think we all agree ان بتقول لك اوكي يبقى انت at that point بتفضل انك تاخد اللايف ستايل ده من ان انت تساكرفايس كل حاجه تفضل قاعد معاه.
So the love was a mental
I don't think any love is enough كده بالطريقه دي ان انت تغير حياتك واللي انت كنت عايزه واللي انت حاسه واللي انت حابه ب 180 درجه عشان بني ادم. I don't think it'll ever be healthy عشان هتطلعوا فيه.
That's a case by
too much
case
compensation
basis.
is very bad
because it's
Why is it a case by case basis?
أولاً أنا عملتش accent.
ثانياً what are you talking about?
You're gonna set me my point.
It's a case by case.
أيوة إن في ناس هي بتبقى أنا عارفة إن I sound very like I'm calculating it قوي and I know that's not the case. I'm just trying to find the logic to explain how I'm seeing it. And it's about the amount of happiness that you get. So it's that if you feel like حياتك لما تقلبها 180 درجة it will make you happier to be with that person than it would doing whatever point than your origin, then by all means go ahead and do it, and that's a different kind of love. It doesn't mean that it's a better kind of love, but as long as you're just, once you feel like there is so much happiness that love can get you, that you're deciding to start a life with it, yes, you should keep feeding into it وكل حاجة, but the more you do that, the more it should be growing with you to the point that even when you reach power and success, that you won't feel like you're ready to sacrifice.
Can I expand on that?
Go ahead.
أنا جالي notion فلسفية مرعبة.
فلسفية مرعبة.
Okay. Do you agree in a relationships should be driven by happiness as well as love? بس
driven by happiness.
يعني
if love is not getting you happiness.
أيوة بس الجول الأخير هو happiness. مع الشخص ده.
I think that's the thing we're chasing with everything. That is the ideal emotion.
طيب أنا بقى what I just thought about is بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
يا رب يا ساتر.
ندوة.
Things.
Codes this.
Codes this. Okay, بس I just need to process it right. Happiness can equate to certain things, but certain things can't equate to happiness.
Define بقى.
Okay. يعني let's say إن رقم 14 هو السعادة بالنسبة لك. Let's say. خلاص. فأنا لو عملت 7 زائد 7 هيديني 14. بس برضه لو عملت 8 زائد 6 هيديني 14. ولو عملت 9 زائد 5 هيديني 14. صح.
Good man.
Good math. بس في الأول وفي الآخر 14 رقم ثابت. So 14 is happiness. And therefore, through your life, you're going to have to keep switching up the numbers in order to reach happiness. Or if a certain set of numbers, لو 14 هي اللي happiness بالنسبة لك, then it's 14. If it's 11 plus 3, then it's 14. If it's 12 plus 2, it's 14. If it's 1 plus 13, it's 14. بس في الأول وفي الآخر عشان كده أنا مش مقتنع إن happiness is a period of time as much as it's momentarily. اللي هو how do you feel right now.
أيوة, it changes.
Yeah,
for sure.
وعشان كده it's fine for you to either get married, get divorced, or stay married, but keep changing inside that relation in order to equate to happiness.
Okay. I don't know if I necessarily agree, because I feel like, yes, happiness is what are the moments we're trying to reach every little bit, and if we don't reach them بيحصل خلل. ولكن I think الحاجة الثابتة اللي لازم تبقى فيها in any relationship is content.
Yes.
So if you're not content in that relationship, if you feel إذا أنت ده الخط، لو أنت تحت الخط consistently في حاجة غلط. ده الخط لو أنت في spikes ما بتثبتش على السبايك، تطلع شوية فوق happiness تقوم نازل، بس طول ما أنت بترجع على الخط، طول ما أنت content باللي عندك, then you're fine. I think at that point, at the Bill Gates situation, he felt like, there's so much more I want to do with my life. I am not content. حاسس إن أنا تحت الخط. At that point, لا خلاص. The equation بتبوظ. Because even if I'm here تحت الخط وبطلع spikes happiness وبقعد happiness كتير, بس برجع هنا. في حاجة لازم بترجع لها at one point. لأن life is not moments. Life is moments, but you live outside of those moments. And during that time, if you're unhappy with yourself, unhappy with your situation, all those happy ones مش هتشوفهم, انت هتشوف ده.
I agree. انت عارف ان talking about الموضوع ان life is moments, and I feel like that's a really good note to end the podcast on if you guys want to end it, عشان we already did an hour and 20 minutes. Crazy. عدوا كده. I feel like الفترة اللي فاتت دي كانت أسرع فترة في حياتي.
أسرع.
Yeah. You don't feel time. انت عارف ان يا ابني انت عارف ان نيو يير سبيشال ان انا وانت صورناه في الاوضه دي قاعدين على نفس الترابيزه وشكلنا practically the same. كان من 5 شهور.
5 months ago.
هبل 5 شهور. انا مش قادر اصدق. اول ابيسود كانت في ديسمبر.
والله الواش شكلها بقى حلوة قوي بالبولارين.
عبط. فالوقت بيجري. as much as I agree in happiness is moments, I feel like every moment is a moment where you can appreciate and be happy for, as cliche as that sounds. بس يعني بجد being aware of every single moment. وفكك بقى ان every moment has opportunities وبتاع, عشان life is not all about opportunities, بس يعني of every single moment is a moment. انت عايش يعني the only
I agree.
moment you're actually living is right now. You're not living for the future, you're not living for the past. أنا عايش دلوقتي حالا فاهم. أنا دلوقتي
it's very small things people don't realize. أنا كنت راجع من الجيم النهارده بعد ما خلصنا قعدت في الطريق للفطار. الناس قاعدة تفطر في الشارع والناس اللي وراها شغل وطلعت تشرب بق مية قبل ما يرجعوا تاني بتاع. I was like الحمد لله. I was like I'm so blessed. أنا خلصت تمرينتي وراجع بيتي أفطر مع أهلي الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله. I feel so blessed. And it's just little things like that throughout your whole day. That's like oh I'm blessed. Oh I have this. Oh I have this. Oh I got this. مع إن there's so much you don't have compared to others برضو. بس بعدين.
I think that's kind of the point to dedicate to mental health awareness month.
أيوة صح. النهارده mental health awareness month.
إيه ده بجد؟
The mental health.
To let like to just realize in whatever happened in the past or whatever the future holds or whatever, the only thing that actually exists is right now. And I feel like to kind of escape how tired we can be to just any judgment we have for ourselves or anything that happened before or we're scared of happening later or whatever, just to take a moment and actually feel rooted in the moment that you're in, you'll just feel like you are your best self that you could be right now, because you couldn't be anyone else, nor should you be. And if you want to change later, then you can do that, and then you'll be controlling your future for yourself. I feel like people don't really realize how much you can be in control of what's to come if you're deciding on what you want. When you want something really, then you are in charge of what happens later, no matter what else happens.
What a fucking note to end the podcast on.
Thank you ميرسي.
فيلسوف برضه.
شكراً.
بيطلع كده.
والله هم 3 يا جماعة، مش عارفة ليه بتفكروا بده بس.
3 كورسات، كل ده 3 كورسات بس؟
لا 3 majors يعني أو 3
والله هم 3 بس يا جماعة. عادة الناس ما بيعرفوش خلاص يكملوا واحد سنة 3. All right. I feel like that's a really good
Happy birthday يا سودان.
Thank you JJ. Thank you JJ. Birthday special wrapped
The 33rd podcast done.
33rd podcast, 21st year.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed.
Yes.
Hope you guys are going to be with us on this very, very long route.
If you want me to come back, please leave a
Drop a like button. Like, share, and subscribe.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that like button. Smash that like button. It really helps out the channel. لا بس إن شاء الله I feel like
يوسف 4 دولار في 33 حلقة احنا
ما فيش خالص. لازم اعمل 1000 حلقة عشان اوصل فاهم ل $100. لازم
math ضرب بعد 14.
كنت عايز اقول لك عايزين I'm actually يعني مش considering بس انا عايز ان احنا نعمل بودكاست اللي هو احنا الثلاثة احنا الأربعة احنا الستة اللي هو like our group of friends. I feel like it's very eye opening. It's super chill. It's super casual. Literally.
If you guys enjoy them,
It's
let
just
us know. If you guys
talks.
prefer the guests,
Yes.
let him know.
Smash the like button.
لو عايزين تقولوا لنا
Genuinely
but,
though,
like,
feedback's
be nice.
important. Feedback's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, feedback is important. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you are still listening, and yeah,
Peace.
peace.